I'm James. We're in the Net News Ledger newsroom. I'm here with Robin Rickards. Robin, how's the campaign going?
Campaign's going well. You know what? I've had a solid team helping me out, and now we're entering the last stages, and we're just getting ready to launch the last bit of advertising we're going to be doing.
Now, issues that have come up in the campaign, some of the ones haven't come up. We were talking a little earlier about the Downtown Fort William.
Absolutely. You know, Downtown Fort William and revitalizing, it's one of the core issues in my platform. And I just think that I've watched, and council's attempted over the years to try and do different things to revitalize downtown Fort William, but they don't seem to understand the fundamentals of modern downtown cores, that you need people living, working, and playing in those areas. And they've missed that. The simple addition of the courthouse isn't likely to change that, because that's just people working.
Yeah.
I've put forward a couple of ideas. Some taken from what I saw with Mr. Habib's suggestions, some from different groups like Friends of the Grain Elevators, to create a cultural center in downtown Fort William that takes advantage of the existing assets like the museum, the Sports Hall of Fame, the James Whale, and the Brodie Street Library with its lovely community rooms. The cornerstone of that, however, I think the real issue that council has failed to address for the better part of 30 years is the failed experiment that we embarked upon with Victoriaville. The obstruction of the streets has had a significant impact on people's willingness to come down to the South Court because of traffic concerns, and also because of crime concerns and vagrancy concerns. So I think the first step with regards to restoring downtown Fort William is restoring those streetscapes. And like Mr. Habib had suggested with pedestrianizing, Thunder Bay lacks a pedestrian streetscape.
Yeah.
I think that Syndicate Avenue represents an excellent opportunity to do that. You have a number of restaurants that already exist on it, and it would provide a venue for the city's many food trucks to be able to set up shop and create that sort of livable nature. So there's a few different ideas there, and I mean, people can take a look on the website to go into greater depth, but I think that's what we have to focus on. We have to focus on the play side, the recreating side, and how we engage people in the evening, because I remember how much more active this area was when the movie theaters were still active here. When the movie theaters shut down with the emergence of Silver City, you could hear a pin drop in the neighborhood at night after that.
It took it to where you went for dinner and then to a show, or to a show and then dinner.
Exactly.
I remember as a kid, it was usually dinner, went for Chinese food somewhere because as a kid it was cheap, and then you went to the movie afterwards with the girlfriend, and you had a fun night out. And when you take the theater out of it,
no, exactly.
The restaurants closed. Now you've got nothing to,
and with that walk by traffic gives the small dedicated merchants in the core area reason to stay open in the evening. But the thing that bothers me most about it, James, is that, look, last year we subsidized Victoriaville to the tune of $459,000. $460,000 went into, $450,000. We had $90,000 in capital costs that the city funded, and a $359,000 loss. And for what purpose? It's been killing the downtown for 30 years. Better to take that money and reinvest it in the community. One suggestion that I've had for people is that let's be conservative. Let's take half of those recovered funds that we currently waste on Victoriaville, and let's allow the Heritage Committee to use that to fund renovations of heritage buildings in the downtown cores. So there's a lot of buildings, St. Andrew's Presbyterian, for example, that's on the Heritage Registry, that was faced with an enormous bill that they were in danger of not being able to afford. I don't think anybody would think that seeing St. Andrew's torn down because the congregation can't support it would be a good idea, regardless of their position on religion. So we use that money, and it's important for the city to do that and for the city to lead. And a lot of people say, well, why spend the money? The city shouldn't spend the money, it should be the private sector. Well, the problem is that the city is the one Council is the one that created the situations
Yeah.
that led to the problems. The private sector is, to say the least, skittish about investing their money if council isn't willing to step forward and start to ameliorate the conditions that they themselves created. I mean, the urban sprawl of the city is one more thing that led to the deterioration of the course. So my apologies for going on.
No, that's, part of what we do, and for our readers and viewers, is that we will discuss something a little more in depth. We don't worry about the 15 or 20 or 30-second soundbite,
Right.
because you want to be able to explain where you're trying to go, and we've offered that to all the candidates that are running. But our offices are in downtown Fort William, and it gets really quiet here at night. There's not a lot of people here. After 10 o'clock, if you want to get a bite to eat, you're ordering in pizza because the restaurants are closed. And I've lived in other cities, Calgary and Edmonton, and they're vibrant.
Yes.
They're alive, and their downtown cores are alive. And so here in Thunder Bay, we've got really 3, maybe 4 core areas. There's Fort William, there's the downtown Port Arthur, there's West Fort, and arguably Bay and Algoma.
Yes.
And the ones that are thriving are the ones that have got population nearby and they've got
Right.
a vibrant activity, and downtown Fort William can do that.
Yes, absolutely. And more importantly, look, if one of the big issues that's come up in this campaign is taxes.
Yep.
And if we're serious about getting taxes under control, we have to address the fact that right now we've got a situation in our 2 downtown cores where there is a significant amount of surplus land that has services running to it that is generating very little tax revenue. And so if we focus those resources inward, if we focus on rehabilitating the downtown cores, we're going to see that investment returned in spades in terms of increased property tax revenue from the commercial buildings.
Well, that's sort of a message that Thunder Bay really needs out there, is that we are open for business, and the downtowns are bluntly great places for small, medium businesses.
Exactly. Just one other point. I mean, we talk about bringing new people into the city and trying to sell the city to the outside world. It's one of the things that came up in the mayor's debate last night. But you've got to be proud of where you come from. And when half years, we've done a good job in downtown Port Arthur. It's starting to look a lot better than I remember when I was in my teenage years. We've got to do the same thing in Fort William, because you know what? You've got to be proud of where you come from to sell it. And it's very difficult to be proud of the city when such an integral part of it, like Fort William, looks the way it does.
Yeah. The campaign's getting into its final stretch. Really, in a lot of ways, once the mayor's debate is done, a lot of people seem to take that as the start of the real pay attention time for the campaign. What have you got happening in your campaign for the next couple of days into the 27th?
Well, the next couple of days are going to see me doing more leafleting. Once we finish up tonight, it's off to go drop off campaign literature, knock on doors. But you're going to see social media ads popping up to try and get front and center in people's minds. And then as we approach election day, I'll be taking advantage of the supporter registry that I have, and we'll be calling my supporters, reminding them to get out and vote, and more importantly, to talk to their friends and family, because for me, it's going to take more than just existing name recognition.
Yeah. Now, for people wanting to get a hold of you and find out more about your campaign, the website address?
Sure, the website address is www.robinrickards.ca. It's pretty straightforward. It's Robin like the bird and Rickards like the beer, so it's easy to remember. You can also find me on Facebook and on Twitter. The hashtag is just Robin Rickards.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate your time tonight.
No problem.